Thank you, Rita. Good evening and welcome to Look North. First tonight, a man from Birstall whose wife died without warning in her sleep is calling for more awareness and testing for heart conditions. Ruby Lockwood was a mother of two. She suffered sudden arrhythmic death syndrome last year. It's usually related to an undiagnosed genetic heart condition and it kills around 500 people in the UK every year. Corinne Wheatley has more.
She was just such a bright, vibrant personality. She was just so full of life. She'd light up a room. Really vivacious, really bubbly and chatty and giggly. Everyone loved her.
Ruby Lockwood's death was sudden and totally unexpected. She was found by her husband Dale when he returned home from work last October. She was 31 and there'd been no sign she was unwell.
Obviously, as well as the loss and the grief and everything you're going through, it's getting up every day for your kids. You can sink or swim, and I've got two children, they've just got me, so swimming is what we're doing.
It took several months to establish that Ruby had suffered sudden arrhythmic death syndrome, which is when someone dies from a cardiac arrest with no obvious reason for it. The condition, SADS as it's referred to, usually happens when a dangerously abnormal heart rhythm goes untreated and is often genetic. Some people with it may experience symptoms. It was only when Dale began researching the syndrome that he realised their two young children, Arthur and Winifred, could also be at risk. He's waiting for the results of more tests.
There's a 50% chance that that gene is in both of the children, so it's flip a coin. Now, I think for me the scary thing in that situation is if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't know that my children are living with something that can kill.
Meanwhile, Ruby's loved ones have been fundraising in her memory. Dale has just completed the Great North Run, along with other challenges and events. He hopes it will help get the message out to others who might have had similar deaths in their family and not realise there's a possibility of a genetic condition.
If there's something in your family, just have a look and have a check. Is it something that could be genetic? You don't want someone in your family living with a ticking time bomb. These things can be detected with fairly simple medical procedures. Now, I can't stress enough, I'm not looking to blame anyone, that's not the point. It's more a case of, it's too late for us, it might not be for someone else.
Ruby Lockwood's husband Dale ending that report from Corinne Wheatley. An inquest has opened into the death of a delivery driver who was killed as he tried to stop someone stealing his van in Leeds. 42-year-old Claudio Carol Condor was originally from Romania but was living in Sheffield. This morning, a coroner called him a hard-working man and said he'd paid an immensely high price for trying to stop a crime taking place. A man is due in court next week, charged with his murder. Now, nearly a year after devastating floods in the Rotherham area, residents say nothing's been done to prevent the same thing happening again. It comes after a public meeting last night that heard from the council and the Environment Agency about what went wrong with the warning system during Storm Babette. Kathy Killick reports.
When Storm Babette hit South Yorkshire in October last year, its effects were devastating. 182 homes and 9 businesses were inundated. The vast majority were in Catcliffe near Rotherham. Last night at a public meeting, a report by Rotherham Council set out what went wrong. First, there was the storm itself, unprecedented rainfall on already sopping land. Next, the River Rother. The Environment Agency misjudged its peak. It was higher and 22 hours longer than predicted. It meant residents had less than 2 hours warning to leave their homes.
People weren't getting the flood notices in time. People weren't having their doors knocked to tell them that, get out right now. And that's inexcusable. We're still having people that aren't getting their insurance claims sorted, still getting people that aren't back in their homes, and they're scared.
Residents only got the warnings if they'd registered their phones, and even then there was little time to prepare. The Environment Agency has now agreed to make changes.
What we've committed we will do is have a look at the point in time, the river level that would trigger the actual flood warning to be issued, which is when we expect flooding to happen. We did hear some people in the room today who said, can't we have a siren? So again, we'll have a look at what other ways we might be able to disseminate that message that works for people in this community.
For residents at the meeting, though, the assurances were not enough. Options to counter the flood risk have yet to be acted on, and winter is on the way.
We're on alert all the time. We are, me and my family, everybody around the village, we're on edge, basically. Every time it rains, when we get a warning. Yes, I did get warning, yeah, but it was too late.
Flood alleviation will take time and money. Unfortunately for Catcliffe, both are in short supply. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North.
On to sport now, and the Championship is back. Sheffield United won 2-0 away to Hull thanks to this goal from Gus Harmer in the first 15 minutes. And after the break, Sam McCallum gave the Blades their second goal in the 65th minute. The game ended 2-0. Now let's take a look at what the weather has in store. Here's Keely.
Hello there, good evening. After a cool week, temperatures are going to recover over the weekend, and actually next week it looks like it could be warmer. Tomorrow there'll be more cloud around compared with today, but there'll still be some sunny spells and it should be largely dry. And then on Sunday we've got the risk of rain, more especially for the hills, with not so much rain getting further east, but it'll be a breezier, cloudier day. So a fine evening out there after a lovely day, and it will be a largely dry, fine night. We'll just see a little bit more cloud perhaps moving in, particularly to western and northwestern parts, and especially later in the night. It won't be as cold as last night, but still quite chilly in a few spots, down to around 4 or 5 degrees. A breezier day tomorrow. There will be some areas of cloud, but as you can see, some good spells of sunshine as well. Through the day, more cloud developing, and I think overall there will be more cloud compared with today, and at times the sunshine will be quite hazy as well. A breezier day, but temperatures higher, reaching around 18 or 19 degrees. Generally quite nice tomorrow evening, and then on Sunday, a fine start, but some outbreaks of rain in places, especially for the hills.
And that is it from the Late Team. Thanks for your company. Do sleep well. Good night.